Hey everybody, we are gonna get started. It's 7 o'clock at Pet Skull Brewing here in Manitowoc. And again, we want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, a little in our intro here before we start. So first and foremost, I'm Drew Skyberg here, the Drew and Drew Sports Crew, and I'm joined here alongside Zack Roush to my right. We like to say pro golfer, right? You go by that now? No? Almost pro?
Not quite.
Not quite, okay. And then he's a Packers fan, don't worry. But over here, we have a Colts fan. I know, it's pretty rough, but then, Jared, what are you, semi-pro golfer? Wanna be?
Just about, yeah.
Who's better between the two of you?
I am, definitely, yeah.
Do you have the golf? Did you bring the card?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
So we have a thing before we start each episode where we have actually, Jared will show off his golf card. He beat Zack in a round of 18, so.
It's only 9 holes.
Oh, it's 9?
Yeah.
Oh,
we don't talk about the front 9.
Front 9.
We don't talk about the front 9, okay. But anyways, who we are, again, this is Drew Sports Crew. It's a sports media brand, and what it all entails is, you know, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, there's sports content on the Wisconsin sports side, then also some power rankings, some stuff there. And then with that, it entails a podcast as well. Mondays, you'll find Drew Sports Crew, Wisconsin sports show covering the Packers, Brewers, Bucks, of course. And then Wednesday, that's where we come in here, Journey to a Million squad. So Zack and Jared, two friends from high school. We continue, we talk football, we talk betting, we talk a lot of good stuff. And then on Saturday, of course, I do a sports betting show covering baseball during this season and basketball come fall. So Drew's baseball crew right now in season, building your winning lineup there for daily fantasy sports. But then what we are here today to do is cover a live show of Journey to a Million. So this week's show live here, we're going to be covering the Green Bay Packers. We'll talk about a season preview for them. But first, we're going to do a full NFL season preview and then also highlight award predictions, winners, and we're going to give all that out for you tonight. We're also going to play some games. So that's something we do in the offseason, pass some time. Whether we're doing a grid, we're doing rankings. We'll talk more about the grid. You see names up here. Jared and Zack will show you how it's done. Maybe more Zack than Jared. We'll see who wins.
What's that supposed to mean?
You winning?
No, but what's that supposed to mean?
You could win. And we'll be going through all of that here. But first, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to all the links. You can get on the TikTok, the Instagram, the Twitter. Journey to a Million has its own TikTok as well. So that's where you'll see Zack, Jared, and myself making some engaging content on there. And it's just a lot of fun stuff. Check it out. Again, scan that QR code. They're at each and every table. We'll talk through all of that. And one last thing, hats and sweatshirts will be available. So if you want some Journey to a Million or Drew Sports Crew merchandise, we have hats here available. $15 for a hat. It's Throwback Thursday today. So if you want a retro sweatshirt, we have some available as well. $10 on those. I have those over here, so if you want to take a peek after the show, feel free. So those are the main announcements. We do want to shout some people out here before we start. We want to first start, how are we producing like this? How do we have the video tonight? This is going to be live on, not live on YouTube, but it'll be available on video after the fact. And that's all because of David Neuenfeld over here. So let's give him a hand, everybody. Thank you, David, on that. And then also, we want to talk about Paul Hoffman. So Paul is actually not here tonight. He is a fundraiser. So it's unfortunate he can't make it, but we're happy to be here, and he did a great job planning this. Look, this started planning, come May is when we started having discussions on this. So it took a long time to plan, and we're happy to be here, and we want to thank Paul Hoffman, so we'll give him a hand too. But those were the main announcements we had here. And before now we get into our NFL season preview, we're going to do it as we do in an episode. We got a game here. So how this works is we have a grid. So these grids, you see some teams up here. You see a total of 9 teams up here. And how it works is if you can't see it, I'll read them off. Don't worry. What you have to do is you have to match a player who has played for both of those teams. So how that would work, let's take the Packers and the Raiders, for example. You'd say Davante Adams, right? Because Davante Adams played for the Packers, and he also played for the Raiders. So we do games like that. We step it up a little. I'll read it for those who can't see. And then you can also throw some fun ones in there, like award prediction or awards in there, like MVPs, Rookie of the Year, some fun stuff like that. But here is the grid that Zach and Jared will be competing in today. So we'll be marking them off as we go. And let's start. I will read the teams so on the top, your 3 teams. You guys ready? All right, Seattle, New England, and Miami are your top 3, are your teams on the top. And then on the left, Denver, Green Bay, and Philadelphia. So look, if Jared and Zach, they are struggling with one, they have the ability to phone on the audience. Audience can help them out here. So they get 1 per game here. So they can utilize that if they need it. We'll see, though, if they will. So to start here, I think we're going to start with Jared. I think Jared's going to lead us off here. Jared, who played for both of these, one of the
We'll
spots?
start with Denver and Seattle and just go Russell Wilson.
All right, Jared is on the board. He is leading 1-0.
We'll
mark it.
Seattle and Philly, Rashad Penny.
Seattle and Philly, Rashad Penny is correct. We are tied right now, 1-1.
I got one for Green Bay, Seattle. That's Eddie Lacy.
Green Bay, Seattle, Eddie Lacy. I did not have that one as the main one. I was thinking Jimmy Graham, so Packer fans, right? Jimmy Graham. That was the one I was thinking. I guess Eddie Lacy, okay. Jared is up 2-1. So,
Yeah, these are tough.
so Seattle,
Right.
Seattle column's already
got
taken.
Derek Wolf, Denver, New England.
That will do. Zach went with Derek Wolf. I had Wes Welker, so if 2000s Patriots, Denver, that's who we went with there. Made this grid a little tougher for them. We do have an audience grid at the end, so we are going to need the audience to win one at the end.
I think this is right. For Green Bay and New England, did Martellus Bennett play for both?
Yep, that will do. Jared's up 3-2 is what I got.
Give me a little time, jeez.
I don't know anymore.
So the hint for you guys is, right, we're talking mid-2010s for offensive players. Right, every player on here is offensive player. Dolphins, Denver. There's another one on there, but that's not mid-2010s. That's more recent.
Philip Lindsay, Denver, Miami.
There you go. I also had Chase Edmonds or Bradley Chubb. There was a trade that recently took place in the deadline there.
Another hint, please.
So, Jared, we talked about one of these actually in the car on the way here. We talked about this one. Let's see. Do you need a phone?
Oh, did Sony Michel play for New England and Philly?
I did not have
He
him.
played for Philly.
He
He did not play
No,
for
he
Philly,
didn't
no.
play for Philly.
Got mid 2010s here. Thinking running back, thinking receiver. Dolphins, Green Bay was a receiver as well.
You're up.
Thinking.
Dolphins in Miami.
So right now we're waiting. We
That is-
need a player who played for Dolphins and Green Bay. We need a player who played for the Eagles and Dolphins, and we also need a player who played for the Patriots and Eagles. Remember, you can phone the audience. Do you need the audience's help yet?
I think I do.
Audience, can you help Zach Roush out here? Anyone got one that they can give? Any insights? So we have.
Denver's done.
We don't need Denver. We need
Denver's
Green Bay
done.
and Patriots. We need Eagles and Dolphins, and we need Green Bay and the Dolphins. Green Bay and Dolphins, there's a lineman, the offensive tackle. There's a wide receiver also. Eagles and Dolphins, there are 2 running backs who played in the mid-2010s.
Oh, Miami, Philly, Jay Ajayi.
Miami, Philly. That will work.
Zach.
That, Jay Ajayi or Jordan Howard, if you remember him with the Bears also.
Which ones do we have left then?
So now we have Dolphins, Green Bay, and we have Patriots, Eagles.
I feel like Patriots Eagles should be.
Jared, we talked about Dolphins, Green Bay in the car. I'm serious. I literally gave you 2 names. I gave you 2 names.
Thank you.
We did the. So there is a
Justin Jackson.
Nope. So Sports Reference does these grids every day. So it's like your Wordle. You just do a grid with it. Yeah. So just like that. So for sports fans, they have some grids there, and we talked about it, Jared. We talked about a receiver. We talked about a tackle, and I got it, and you were like, "Wow," he was like 4% or something.
Is this before I got there?
Yeah, this is before.
I mean,
Zach was a little later. Came a little late.
am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
Wasn't Jay Ajayi, didn't he play for New England as well?
No, that's cheap.
You
You
can't
can't
use
do
them for-
that. You can't do that.
What?
No.
All right.
And the running back for the Eagles Patriots
Ooh.
won some Super Bowls.
I think I got
Go,
one.
go.
Can I? LeGarrette Blunt.
Yep, LeGarrette Blunt is correct.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
I think I won.
I got Jared winning right now, 5-4.
We got Martellus
We,
Bennett.
we
for
already
that
got,
one.
yep, we already got that one.
Yep.
Sorry.
Should be tied 4-4,
Just
no?
Green Bay and Miami.
2.
Should be 4-4.
Oh, yeah, it's 4-4.
1, 2, 3,
So 4-4,
4.
we have one
Miami,
square
Green
left.
Bay. You got the
So
unfair advantage,
Zach,
too.
Zach is up here. Dolphins, Green Bay. We're looking for a wide receiver. We're looking for then also a lineman.
I got it.
Jared thinks he has
I
it.
have it,
Do you need
yeah.
to phone the audience now, Zach? Get some
I
help
have
here.
it.
If they got someone.
Audience, do you have anyone to
Gotta
help
get a
out
timer
Zach
on
here?
this. You got to get a timer on this.
The audience does not, Zach? I'm sorry? You can't look over here.
I'll just write it down.
I got nothing.
Okay, Jared, who is it for the win?
It's Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings is correct. Billy Turner also played for them. You remember Billy Turner?
I guess so.
Yep. End his career.
That's
End
a
of his
good
career. He played
question.
half the season. Yeah. Greg Jennings is your guy. Jared wins as the underdog. So
that doesn't happen
congratulations,
often.
Jared,
Doesn't happen
winning there.
often.
Woo! Good way to start tonight. So that's how we roll there. We're gonna then have a grid at the end. We'll put up here. We also have a top 11 we're gonna do. Zach and I are gonna be competing against each other. Jared has. We'll do that at like the intermission here of the show. So now we're actually gonna get into some of our content here, and we want to talk first through the NFL season preview, right? We want to talk about some big moves that are gonna also impact the Packers. We're not just gonna be talking about some specific, training camp for the Chiefs or whatnot. We have some relevant moves to talk about tonight, and one first. I think we got to start with, guys, is we got to go right to the quarterbacks, right? What happened this offseason with the quarterback position? And I think a big thing, right? I have some guys listed, Jimmy G and Derek Carr were two I mentioned. I guess, how do you guys feel about the quarterback position, how it's shifted this offseason with players moving team to team?
I think Derek Carr for the Saints. I like the move for them. They're kind of stuck in the similar situation to where the Colts were the last few years, kind of jumping between some veteran quarterbacks, not really having a long-term answer, but they weren't bad enough to get one in the draft. So I do like that move. I think he'll be around for another until he's into his late 30s. I think he'll be playing. So they got the weapons, got the defense. I like the move.
For Jimmy G, I mean, he's finally getting his start. That was a mess in San Fran with, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, all three of them there, and now he finally gets a start for the Raiders, fills in for Derek Carr. I think that's good for him for a fantasy vote. If we're looking at fantasy, I mean, I'm not touching him just because you don't know what you're going to get with that Raiders offense, but it's been mostly Josh Jacobs, and that's about it. I think the big one for everyone here would be Jordan Love.
Hey,
and
Jared,
Aaron
just
Rodgers.
that's where I was going to go right away. I think the biggest move, in the quarterback realm definitely was Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. So we talked about this trade here on the show. Again, scan the QR code. You can see, some of the episodes we have on there. But look, this Aaron Rodgers trade was something. I'll break it down. We'll talk about it again, guys. How it went was the Jets, they acquired Aaron Rodgers, number 15 overall, and the number picked 170 in the 2023 draft. The Packers, they got number 13 overall, so they move up 2 spots in the draft. They get pick 42, pick 207, and then a 2024 conditional second-round pick. So you don't hear a lot of people talk about this condition here. It becomes a first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of plays. Zach, Jared, do you guys think he's going to be playing that 65%? Will this become a first?
Well, I think that he will because all the time in Green Bay, he didn't really play in training camp, and now he's showing up to training camp, so it looks like he wants to play and he's happy where he is. So I think that he's going to try to play as much as he can, unlike in Green Bay where he kind of had that toe injury or, he sat out a few games. I think he's going to be more urgent and, eager to play for the Jets.
He's always been that quarterback, though, that's been trying to stay out on the field. I think the only seasons he didn't play 65% were where he broke his collarbone.
Yeah, no,
He did that, twice? I think those are the only seasons he can make it, so.
we did the math, too. I believe it's 13 games, right? It ends up being he's got to play 13 to 17, 12 to 17.
I think he'll hit
it's
it
like
easily.
12 and a half
Yeah.
or something like that.
And what helps Green Bay out, I think, so much is they can't just sit him a game or two if they're sitting nicely in the playoffs. Like, that's really what's going to help Green Bay out. And if it's a total disaster, for the Jets, oh well. But, like, that 65%, I think, is pretty likely to hit. I think the Packers are going to have a first in 2024, additional one. So I'm happy with it.
Well, that'll pair well with their top 10 pick.
Oh, Jared.
Come on now.
Jared, what are the Colts
Low
picking? Colts
teams.
get Caleb Williams, don't they? They're going to be number 1 overall.
Marvin Harrison.
3-14. Oh, we won't say what the Colts record is. Nah, but
Whatever.
I think that was a big thing talking about this quarterback thing. We'll talk more about how training camp has gone in our second, main point here in this show, but we did want to talk about the running back situation. This is relevant. Wisconsin Badger fans, we know Jonathan Taylor. We know and love Jonathan Taylor for what he did for UW, but the big thing, what has gone on, has been some drama, and it's actually been with Jared's Indianapolis Colts. So that's where having him here also as like the unbiased view for the Packers. We also got to have him to talk about JT. So I guess, Jared, how so far has the situation changed from JT? So for those who don't know, Jonathan Taylor, big thing with him has been just a contract dispute, threatening to sit out, and then also the Colts they threatened to place him on was it the NFI?
Yeah.
So what would happen then, not in football injury, he actually won't get paid in 2023, 2024, which would actually push him going to free agency for another year.
It would not. Well, yeah, he wouldn't be a free agent.
He wouldn't
until
have been a
the
free
next
agent
year.
for another year.
Yep.
So basically, Jared, what's the scoop on this? What are the Colts doing with him?
Well, JT can't win. Like, if you want to get paid, you're going to have to play. If the Colts put him on this injury list, then he can't get paid, and then he'll just roll over and he'll still be a Colt next year. So he's starting to, be a little nicer to the players in the organization. He's starting to, kind of, gain a little ground in the organization. He's trying to, become friendlier with these people and the coaches. But, I mean, once you try to get paid, he signed papers 3 weeks before this happened saying he wanted to be a Colt for life and that he was never going to leave Indianapolis. He got a new agent, and immediately he says he wants to get paid more. That whole running back meeting happened with Saquon and all them, and now he wants to get paid more. Well, you can't win this. Either you play, like Pittman said, he has 1 year left on his rookie deal. He said, if I don't get an extension, I'm going to play. Because, you're in the NFL. People dream of being in the NFL to play, not to, bargain over a few bucks for them to, keep playing. If you're in the NFL, you want to play. And if JT sits out, he won't play for at least another whole year. And then he's still a Colt the next year. So no matter what, he's going to have to play. He's going to either have to play or we're going to trade him, and we're not going to trade him. That doesn't make sense for us to trade him. So he can't win this, honestly.
I think he's got to play. Running backs really don't have another option. They already have a short shelf life as it is, with pretty much their prime being from whenever they get drafted to the age of 25, 26.
Yeah.
We saw with Saquon, that's why he signed the 1 year deal, is even if he wasn't getting paid, I mean, he might as well not lose out on that $10 million that he's going to get on the contract anyways. And then, granted, next year his contract probably won't be as big as what he could have gotten this year, but he really doesn't have another option, right? I mean, we saw how holding out went with Le'Veon Bell. We saw it with even Watson as a quarterback, completely different position last year when he came back after about a year and a half. You could tell he didn't play for a while.
The rust,
right? Yeah. So I think we're starting to see some situations with different players. We're going to see it with Calvin Ridley again this year, where they don't play for a year and a half, and we're going to see if they can break off that rust or not. And I think the more players we get in that situation, for example, if Josh Jacobs doesn't play this year, we're going to see another situation next year. Same thing. And the more players we see hold out a year, teams are going to start to understand how that affects players. Yeah. It's just something we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Teams like the Colts, for example, Zach Moss just got hurt, but when JT got hurt, we brought in Phillip Lindsay, Zach Moss, and Deion Jackson, and they performed like they should. Running backs are so replaceable that, even if you're a superstar running back, you can throw in an average running back, and they'll still put up the yards and the production you need. And they need to realize that it's a lot different running back to quarterback, a player that you need on your team that can carry you to a Super Bowl. We talked about the Super Bowls. When's the last time a Super Bowl winner had a good running back on their
I was
team?
going to bring that stat up.
Never.
So
It's been a while.
It's been over 10 years, Jared, since that's happened. So really a big theme here is what we're talking about is there's a shift in the market where right now the running backs, they get the rookie deal. They get 4 years. If they were drafting and then if they're drafting the first, they get that 5th year option. And then what happens is they're done. They're off that rookie deal and they're not going to get paid. So the big concern right now with running backs, and there's actually they had a Zoom meeting about this. All running backs were there, including Packer running back Aaron Jones was there. just about the situation. Jones, in fact, did get his second contract with the same team, but the concern here is running backs aren't getting second contracts compared to wide receivers. They're not getting paid, and they are going to want to dispute this in the collective bargaining agreement with the owners, but that's
2030.
2030. So right now, running backs, this is something, and this affects the Green Bay Packers. Is Aaron Jones here actually? This is the second last deal or year on his deal here, and what happens is his cap hit is a little over $8 million right now for 2023, 2024. But next season, his cap hit goes from 18 mil to 17.7 million. He could be a cut candidate next year.
What's the dead cap hit?
Dead cap is 12.3 million.
That makes it tough, though. You don't want 12 million dead cap stuck on a running back.
And yeah,
I think almost like restructure is going to happen. I mean,
another
that'd
restructure? So they restructured it this past year too.
Yeah, you can't take a $12 million dead cap hit for
On a running,
back.
yeah.
Well,
And
even
that's
when he signed his second contract, everyone thought he was overpaid, and he is. You can't pay a running back that
No.
much now. It's even more relevant now.
His game's going to translate a little bit better, though.
He's a receiving back too. He
Yeah,
can,
we see
he can be
with
in the
Eckler.
flex. Yeah,
Eckler, he'll rush for 40 yards a game,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's not a major running threat, but he's still.
You also have Dylan, and you can't pay both of them. I mean, if you have one on your team, you're fine. And
They're
they
drafting one in 2024. I mean, that's where I think
They
the
just
Packers.
when did they draft Dylan? Like 2020?
Yeah, Packers are going to draft a
2024.
running back in 2024. I think they're going to draft one with a top 4, top 5 round pick.
And they're just gonna get rid of both.
No, not get rid of
Jones
both.
and Dillon, or-
But Lou Nichols, they drafted in the 7th round. We'll talk about him. He hasn't,
Yeah.
so far in camp, he hasn't done, like, you're not going to see Lou Nichols on the field. I don't think at all. Maybe on special teams. But he doesn't even fit the returner role well. So I think
Yeah.
with this Packer team moving forward, I think there's going to be a change at running back even next season. Like, not full on.
I think more and more teams are going to go to kind of how the Kansas City Chiefs are. They don't have a top running back. They didn't draft a top running back, and everyone was saying it was a weakness. And ever since they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they've kind of been just letting the position alone, right? I mean, Pacheco's their starting running back, and he was a 7th-round pick. So teams are starting to see it can work. So
And they got some undrafted guys working in there too. So it's full on, it's just a shift in the game. I did want to talk with you guys here, moving to the NFL division. So like each division, we're going to give our prediction. We're going to predict who is going to win each division in the National Football League. And of course, we'll get to the NFC North as well. But I had them listed off in order here, and I wanted to hear, we're just going to go down the line and we'll give our prediction, our thoughts. We have to dispute a little. We can. Want to start with the AFC East. Who do you guys got winning that division? Bills, Jets, Dolphins, or Patriots?
That's going to be a little closer than most people think. I think I have the Dolphins being very close, but I think the Bills still take it. Probably by like a game. Probably a game. I'd say the Dolphins win 10, Bills win 11.
I'll say it, Dolphins.
I'm going to go with the favorite. I'm going to go with the Bills. I got Bills over Aaron Rodgers, Jets, and Allen Lazard and all the old Packers.
I got the Jets winning like 8 games this year. They're not
Wow.
going to beat you. Yeah.
You might get applause up
Yeah.
for that.
No.
Okay.
Those never work. Those crutch quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, that never works for teams like that.
Philip Rivers worked for the Colts, didn't he?
They didn't make the playoffs, did they? No, it doesn't work. So
All right, AFC North here. Bengals, Ravens, Browns, or Steelers?
Bengals for sure. I mean, Ravens made some moves, but
This is one of my
Steelers
bold
will be-
takes.
Close one.
I got Ravens.
Steelers will be like 9-8. Bengals will be 13-4. I think. I think Bengals take that easily.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll go Ravens.
Nice.
Bengals lost some people on defense.
They still have elite offensive players. I mean,
Yeah,
besides Joe Mixon, who's kind of question. I don't know if is he okay?
Is Burrow missing time, though?
I don't know.
I mean, Zach Taylor said it's still
I don't
several weeks from when he said several weeks. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
Packers are playing the Bengals tomorrow in the preseason, so we'll talk a little.
Hey, they
about
just
that
had a
later.
fight, didn't they?
They did have a fight in practice yesterday. We'll talk about that. 2 fights, actually. AFC South. Jaguars, Titans, Colts, or Texans?
You guys go first.
it's
on
got
this
to be
one.
the easiest one.
This
Yeah,
is the
it's
easiest one.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Jacksonville
Jaguars.
Jaguars, they're winning the South. AFC West. This one can get interesting.
I
Chiefs,
don't think it
Chargers,
should.
Broncos, Raiders.
I don't think anything will
should
be
be
close to the
interesting.
Chiefs.
It shouldn't be?
No,
I think
they've won it the
Chargers
last.
will be 2 games back.
Chargers are always overhyped by you at least.
We'll say Chiefs, fine.
Hey,
But
they got Kellen Moore. Offense will live up to their hype.
Who? Yeah. I know.
what do you guys think about like this team having 3 or this division having 3 playoff teams though?
No.
Nope.
Broncos are not making
Did they have
it.
2 last
Really?
year? Yeah, they only had 2 last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Broncos will
Payton.
win like 8 games.
If there's a division that have 3 playoff teams, it's the AFC West.
Yeah, but there's so
Yeah.
much other competition in other divisions for the AFC wildcard teams.
Yeah, no, I get it. The
Yeah,
AFC's been more competitive here. NFC East. We'll go over to the NFC now. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, or Commanders.
This
Eagles.
division went from like one of the worst to one of the best like pretty quick.
It's a good division.
I would say Eagles probably.
You gotta say Eagles.
Yeah, but I mean people are underestimating the Cowboys too.
Talking about overhyped.
Yeah,
Overhyped every year.
Cowboys, yeah, always the Cowboys. It's their year though, you know.
You got the
see Dak
Cowboys
in
over there?
They got
practice?
T.Y. Hilton now though. So.
We got a fan or
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Fan? Okay.
How many games are the Cowboys winning?
Ooh,
A member in the
12.
audience has Cowboys winning 12 games, going 12-5. There we go.
I mean, they normally
Dak
are on
staying
their
under
own.
the 10 picks. Is
Dak
Dak
Pre-
staying under the 10 interceptions?
No, he'll throw like 15.
Staying under
Really?
10.
Wow.
There you go.
I mean, then Eagles got to win 13.
All right, let's go to NFC
they win
North here,
12.
guys. Let's go to the North. Let's talk about the Packers. All right, a little here. Detroit, Minnesota, Packers, and Bears. So that's the order of Vegas odds.
You guys can go first. I don't want to get booed. It's not for me.
It's tough.
Between
Well,
two that aren't your team.
I'm gonna. Do I just say Detroit?
I say.
I think Detroit's gonna like.
I say Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota.
Okay.
I think it'll be close.
Kirk Cousins is very underestimated. He's been average his whole
That-
career, and people don't give him the credit he deserves.
It's a
to be
top
honest.
5 offense.
Yeah.
It's just
I watched
Yeah.
a little bit. Kirk Cousins, he's a nice guy. What's there not to like about him?
He's
Yeah,
always
he's
been.
great.
I mean, he's been underrated his whole career. You know.
Especially when he goes to Washington. Like, that
Yeah.
was good. When he went to Washington.
you like that?
You like that?
You like that? You like that?
Yeah. No, I got Packers being third or fourth. Honestly,
Packers, it'll be close, I think, between second and third.
you think
Like,
so?
No.
You don't? You don't?
I think Packers
Okay.
win like 6 to 8 games this year. I think.
Hey, we're not doing
Lions-
record predictions yet.
Well, eight.
Eight?
We'll talk
that.
about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk near the end here on that.
For the Vikings, Brian Flores is underrated hire as D coordinator.
Like, that's going to be, I mean,
He's going to help
their
them
defense
a lot.
schematically definitely was lacking some things. I think
mean,
that's going to be a big win.
Their secondary still isn't great, but I think Daniil Hunter will be. He'll be up near the top of the league in sacks.
All right, this division here, NFC South, it's kind of like the old NFCs. This division stinks. New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa Bay. I got Atlanta winning the division. I think they improved their defense enough, and they're going to have a firepower offense. I got the Atlanta Falcons.
I got New Orleans.
Ooh,
I
that
can't
was
buy
also
into
someone.
Desmond Ritter.
Can't buy it. Okay.
They have the weapons, but they don't have the quarterback. I think Derek Carr does it for the Saints.
I would have to say the Falcons just because I think there's a big year coming out of AJ Terrell. I just think that he's going to carry the team kind of like Micah Parsons
Wow.
and Trayvon Diggs did last year for the Cowboys. I don't know why I feel like that, but I just think that and of course Bijan, but
So
Ritter's the questionable one there.
Packers will see Atlanta week 2, and they'll see New Orleans week 3. So we'll see both of these NFC South teams early. So
Drew's a big Drake London fan, though.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah.
I like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I just worry about how much they're going to pass the ball there in Atlanta.
I mean that division, the winner's going to win like 9 games. It's not going to be a.
it's going to
They'll
be
be the
yeah,
4
it's-
seed.
The
They'll be
division
4 seed.
stinks. Let's be honest.
One team will make it. That's a 4 seed. No other teams will be wild card
Right.
or anything.
One more division here, NFC West. We have San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, and Arizona. This is San Francisco's division to lose.
I
All
mean,
together?
yeah.
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 How many games are they winning? 12?
No.
Yeah. I'd say 12 or 13.
12. All right, cool.
I'm going to
Well,
say 11. I'm going to say 11. Yeah.
Jared just has to
I think
disagree.
Seattle could get to 11.
No.
They're not
Gino
getting
had a
12
1
to
year.
13.
Gino's not going to be able to repeat what he did last year.
Talking about firepower offense, they got JSN,
JSN.
DK, and Lockett.
Yeah, but no one to throw him to. No one to throw to them.
Yeah,
Is
Gino.
not- Gino is not going to be what he was last year.
I don't know. Geno Smith, he was
He
good.
was
He
nothing
might
for
regress
10
a
years
little
of his
bit.
career. He had one good year, and now everyone
Yeah.
just forgets the 10 years before.
He might regress a little bit, but he'll
little
still
bit.
be a solid
You thought Burrow was
starting
gonna
quarterback.
regress last year, didn't you?
I'm with you guys. How about we go here, guys? Let's do our war predictions, then we'll go into a game. How about that?
Okay.
Switch it up here.
Sure.
So we're going to break down the all major NFL awards here. We're just going to talk about who we think is going to win. We'll talk some sleepers on that. And then after we go through those award predictions, again, these are all general NFL ones, we're going to play a little game, Zach versus me, in a top 11. So first to 6 wins that one. And then we're going to do our Packer preview. So let's get into the award predictions. Right away, you guys want to start? Right, let's go to the rookie awards here. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
You gotta say Bijan.
Bijan Robinson. So he's of the Atlanta.
I'm between Bijan and Richardson. I think Richardson can get up there with his rushing ability. I don't think the passing yards aren't going to be there. I think he's going to sit around the.
Did you see his
around
pass to
3,000.
Alec Pierce in training camp? That 60-yard bomb, perfect placement.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, he'll definitely have some of those,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's going to be consistent
Maybe
enough.
like one every
Yeah,
3
we
weeks.
saw
or
with
so.
like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, all these guys coming into the league.
Yeah.
He's going to be there with the rushing ability, but it's going to be the passing. I think it'll
Something
take a
he can
year or two.
develop, yeah.
I think he'll definitely get there eventually. I like Shane Steichen. Obviously, he was with Herbert. He was with Jalen Hurts now, so I think he'll be able to get Richardson there. It just depends how long that takes. I don't think he'll be this year.
And again, that's Anthony Richardson for the Indianapolis Colts. Jared's Colts.
So, yeah, I have last year I chose Traylon Burks as my offensive rookie of the year. This year I'm going with Jalen Hyatt.
Oh,
Just
that's
a random,
terrible.
A
That
random
is
guy.
terrible.
A random guy that's going to
New York Giants
no.
receiver. He was playing
He
with
was-
the third stringers a little bit to start
Yeah,
camp.
but he was like player of the year in college last year for Tennessee. I mean,
He's looking good. I'll give you
yeah,
that.
he's
but
been
I
impressing
mean,
a
he's
lot of
been
people.
better as of late. Yeah.
And so was Traylon Burks. It's the same story. Traylon Burks, it took a while for him
how
to.
did that work out though?
I mean, he started off bad, but then he just kind of, brought
Yeah,
it up a
he
little.
kind of had that
Yeah.
concussion early throughout
Yeah.
the season.
I'm
but-
taking Bijan Robinson of Atlanta. Again, Packers are going to see him week 2. Again, he's a powerful running back from Texas. And
he's going to probably put up like 200 yards on the Packers.
He's going to be a
just 'cause-
force against Green Bay.
Probably.
You'll
His
see him
defense
week
got
2.
better, but
You'll
not-
remember him here
that
from
good.
this show. Look, he's
First
just an
half
electric
Packers
back.
defense isn't good.
No.
They're using him in the passing game too. He's just going to be a dual threat. It's going to be tough for Green Bay. So that's who I'm going with the offensive rookie of the year. Going to the defensive side, defensive rookie of the year. These guys, who you got on this award?
I mean, the one obvious one will be Will Anderson. I mean, I look back to like Chase Young when he was drafted high and he won it. I mean, it was pretty obvious that's who the like number one option will be for like most people. I also have a Packer player on here, Lucas Van Ness. I think that out of
Yeah,
Iowa.
we'll take that.
I mean, I've been following him because my stepdad's an Iowa fan, but I just think that he'll give the defense a little extra step and maybe he can prove his name this year.
I don't mind the Lucas Van Ness. I think we're gonna have to see how he plays with if Rashawn Gary's back and then Preston Smith as well.
Yeah.
See if one of those guys can move inside a little bit more or how that works exactly. I guess I got Jalen Carter. I think obviously the Eagles' D line is phenomenal, so he's gonna have enough other guys where he's not gonna be getting double or triple teamed or anything like that inside. Obviously, great at stopping the run, but if we can see him get after the quarterback, I think that'll push him over the edge.
So I like the Van Ness pick. So I was going to lean there as well, but I also wanted to highlight Will Anderson. I know he's the favorite, but what Anderson can bring as a pass rush perspective is going to be huge. I'm concerned with Jalen Carter with the counting stats. I don't think he's going to get those counting stats that we see award winners get in the interior D-line. I like Van Ness as a pass rusher. I think he's going to get a lot of pressures, hits. Gary's been practicing, been playing well. And then Van Ness also had his best day of camp yesterday, which we'll talk about. So that's kind of where I'm at. Also for corners, I know Sauce Gardner won it last year, but you need to excel as a corner in order to win.
Yeah, it's
I think you
it's so
mentioned
tough.
Devin Witherspoon.
Witherspoon's
You
one,
mentioned
Christian
him.
Gonzalez,
Yeah.
both those corners are guys who we could see. But look, I mean, you definitely are going to hear Will Anderson for sure.
yeah. After your rookie year, you got to be talked about as like a top 10 cornerback in order to win as a rookie.
It is.
Just
It's tough.
It's a tough position to transfer as well. We see most cornerbacks usually take 1 to 2 years to kind of live up to their hype that they had coming out of college. So.
For sure. This is going to be a fun one. NFL Offensive Player of the Year. This is always a fun one to predict, and it's tough right now. I can tell you Vegas has Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson right now.
Well, this award is the position player's MVP.
Yep.
I mean,
correct.
that's all it really
That's
is.
a good way to put it. MVP is a quarterback award, for those who don't know. And Jared, who's your position players?
I hate to just say Jamar Chase. I think he will be, but I also have Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave as
Ooh.
kind of dark horse winners. Just because if you say Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, I mean they're superstars. They're probably going to be in the top 5 for sure. I'm just trying to find some people that could have a breakout season like a Chris Olave.
Second year breakout. Jared's calling it
I
right
just
now.
kind of said your name, or your guy, didn't I?
So I was trying to avoid Chase Jefferson. I went with Tyreek Hill. I'm buying into the Dolphins hype this year. I think Tua.
You didn't like Tua at all last year. At all. I
I-
tried
Correct.
getting you on board.
Correct.
I tried.
I was looking back a little bit, and his stats, apart from the weeks
49ers?
where he was injured or like dealing
Tough
with the
matchups.
concussions or gone or whatever. He played phenomenal, and we saw Tyreek Hill was his go-to guy. So when Tyreek comes out saying he could get 2,100 yards, I don't think he'll quite get there, but I could definitely see a scenario where he gets up to 1,900 and has a Justin Jefferson type season.
I mean, Tua's just got to stay healthy.
yeah.
That's the big
Yeah,
thing.
So there's. Oh, sorry. Go.
Dark horse guy I was kind of thinking of is maybe Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to win MVP. But hear me out. If he passes for 3,500 yards, right, he progresses a little bit as a passer and then kind of sustains his rushing over the entirety of the season. We saw last year it was very condensed within like weeks 12 to like 15 or later on in the season. If he can start with that right at the beginning of the season, I could definitely see him getting to 12 or 1,300 rushing yards. And if you add a little progression in the passing game, I mean, why not Offensive Player of the Year?
What did he say? He said he wanted to be like the first quarterback to rush for
Pass for
something,
4,000.
Pass for 4,000. Yeah.
Bears have never had one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Bears are a great team. Huh?
I like that dark horse call. It's not a bad one. You guys actually haven't mentioned Christian McCaffrey yet. Even in the guys you've mentioned, like, I just think the situation's perfect in a Kyle Shanahan offense there in San Francisco. Right now, a guy who can steal work from Elijah Mitchell. He's dealing with an injury. He's had injury history. I don't know. I don't see him being healthy. I know McCaffrey's had injury issues as well, but look, if Mitchell's misses some time and they give McCaffrey that lead work in the running game, we already know what he does in the passing game. I think McCaffrey would be a slam dunk there.
Here's the reason I'm not in McCaffrey for Offensive Player of the Year is we saw last year when Elijah Mitchell was healthy, they tried to alleviate some of the carries onto Elijah Mitchell. And we did see that when Mitchell wasn't playing that McCaffrey got all the work. I don't think they're willing to do that over the entirety of the season. I think they're going to find someone else. Or if that's Tyrion Davis-Price or they sign like a Zeke or Leonard Fournette, whoever it is, I don't think that they're willing to have McCaffrey get 20 carries and 5 receptions a game because they want to make sure they have him for the playoffs. Right? They want to make sure they have him for the full season. So they're going to find somebody, if that is Elijah Mitchell or that is a veteran, whoever that is, I don't think they're going to be fully relying on him in that backfield because they want him to stay healthy.
And I'll say something I always say. There's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. There's a lot of weapons there in that San Francisco offense. So that certainly is a hindrance as well, right? George Kittle, Debo
back in the
Brandon
running game.
Ayuk. I mean, there's a lot of weapons in that offense.
And the thing with that is, like, McCaffrey, when he was on the Panthers, like, he was their guy. Like, they kind of needed him. Now there's so many weapons there that you might not get as much value as you'd think.
So that's one. My dark horse is just Cooper Kupp. I mean, the big thing with him is if he plays 17 games, if he is the lead guy in Los Angeles
Him
with the
and
Rams.
Stafford health.
Yeah, Stafford's got to be healthy too. It seems like a pretty easy dark horse one, but there's two big ifs. Let's go to Defensive Player of the Year on this one. Micah Parsons, of course, leads the way. Who is your pick on that? I thought Parsons was like...
Yeah, me and Jared were discussing this before the show, and we discussed it's really down to 4 people, right? Nick Bosa, T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, and Micah Parsons, right? I think it's pretty much one of those 4.
Anyone else would have to have like a all-time season to even have their name mentioned with those names. So
yeah, unless like 2 of those guys split a bunch of votes, and we see a cornerback who has a Stephon Gilmore type season, or a Trevon Diggs where they have 10 picks and really are locking down receivers all season. I don't think anybody other than that's going to win it.
I mean,
T.J. Watt?
I would say T.J. Watt right now. Micah Parsons, T.J. Watt. I mean, like we said, it could go to like any of them, but
I agree.
it just depends what team is doing better and who's
Sauce
healthy.
Gardner is number 5 right now. Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders, number 6. Kind of surprising. Not even Donald mentioned. I think that's just a big concern. He's already won the award a couple times, and then also that defense around him is just terrible.
Is terrible, yeah.
And that might hold him back. They're going to double team him a lot.
What about like an Aiden Hutchinson? Could he
You're thinking a big second-year breakout.
I mean, Sauce Gardner is listed as 5.
Hutchinson did look good in that the highlight against was it against Andrew Thomas? Who's that against?
Andrew Thomas.
It was
Andrew Thomas of the Giants and him were squaring off. Two big guys with draft capital and some good stuff there. NFL MVP last award here before we get into a game. What?
I didn't even write that one down.
You don't even? Do you need to?
Who is it? Give us the name.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow leads the way. He is
Does he?
Vegas is number 1. Yeah, plus 600.
I mean, everyone thinks
Wow.
Let's get
everyone thinks Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Burrow's a top 3
I got
3 quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence is the dark
I
horse.
would
He's
hate
not
to
even
see
listed,
that. I would
but
hate to see that.
I got Justin Herbert. Oh,
No.
I went with Zack's guy.
Over.
I like both of those guys.
Herbert,
Kellen
Newton.
Moore in Dallas. They had top 5 offense every year he was offensive coordinator.
That's Dallas. Yeah, Dallas.
And now
is
you've
offensive
got-
You always hype up
You
Justin
got
Herbert
Keenan
every
Allen,
year.
Mike Williams,
They've always had them.
Quentin Johnston, and Justin Herbert. They have phenomenal weapons.
Yeah,
and now
they were-
get
what were they up by last year,
arguably
like
the best
20?
offensive coordinator.
In the playoffs, they were up by like
Yeah,
20
with Joe Lombardi. It's the
Okay.
offensive coordinator change is going to do wonders for that offense.
It won't change the whole team. It'll help, but at best, they're a second round exit. I think.
I mean, that doesn't
Second
affect
round.
MVP though.
Well, no, but
the regular
Justin
season
Herbert-
or Jared.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're probably still gonna only win like
I don't know.
10 games.
yeah. You
11?
do have to be very.
You're not
good
gonna win
team
that
to it.
division.
I put down Trevor Lawrence because I am buying into Kelvin Ridley. I think he's not going to miss a beat coming back after a year and a half, and we saw him progressing a lot at the end of last year. I think he's going to continue that this year. Big fan of Doug Peterson as well. And with how bad that division is, yes, Colts included.
They're terrible, yeah.
They could get up to 12, 13 wins, and they have a realistic shot at beating the Chiefs out for the number 1 seed.
I would not go that far.
They have 6 division games against
They
teams that are
started off-
probably under 500.
Yeah, but they started off last year playing against some pretty bad teams, and they went 3-3.
Yeah, and
And then they picked it up as the year went on. Yeah.
So if they can carry that over, I'm buying into
If
it.
they can.
Lawrence
yeah.
is in a system now that he's been in now for a second year. That's
But
a
who's
big
the
thing
running
for
back
quarterbacks we like.
besides ETN?
They have ETN
Tank
and Tank
Bigsby. Tank Biggs.
That's fine for
Bigsby's
backfield.
gonna be the guy.
I guess
there.
you don't need a running back. We talked
Yeah,
about that.
I mean,
yeah.
I like their weapons, but I think Kelvin Ridley can be a legitimate number 1 option. And then they
I
have
think
Kirk's
it's gonna be
number
good.
1. No,
no Kirk will be their number 2. Yeah,
I
Jaguars.
haven't seen Ridley play in a while.
Year
so I
3
kinda
breakout
forgot.
for
Ridley
Lawrence.
in Atlanta was
Yeah. With
he
Julio.
was that guy.
Yeah.
He was that guy.
Lawrence, I like that one. I like the dark horse, that one there. How about we go to a game, guys? Top 11. We're not going to update the whiteboard for this one, but we will be keeping track. Jared will be keeping track. Zach and I are competing here in this game.
So
do we
for
got?
this game, we got, it's recent. Normally we go back a few years, but didn't want to make it too difficult today. 2022, last year, reception leaders.
Oh.
So we never did this actually.
Wow.
There's some surprising names on here that I don't know if you guys will get.
I hate doing
Yeah.
receptions.
So top 11, like we said, first to 6 wins.
I get to go first, right?
Of course, you go first. Yeah, of course.
Jefferson.
Yeah, he's number 1.
Okay. I'm gonna say Chris Olave.
That's your first guess.
Yeah, Olave.
You couldn't think
He
of
had a
anyone
big
else.
big reception here.
He's not on here.
He's not on top 11.
No.
Really?
How about Tyreek Hill?
Number 2.
Oh,
Yeah, that's normally how Drew does though. He normally tries to go
I
for
like
the,
to go
the
for
dark
the-
horse guys.
the good
Yeah.
guesses.
Yeah,
They're good guys.
well, Devontae Smith's on there.
he's number 11. Wow.
Pull the last ones out.
Okay.
Let's go Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Number 7.
Okay. I'm gonna take here.
And
This
this
is
this
everyone.
is not just receivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Austin Eckler.
Number 5.
I didn't think you'd be that high, honestly.
Yeah.
Kelsey.
3.
McCaffrey.
No.
No, really.
He got. I think
He would have
a
been.
game.
He would have been second for running backs.
Well, he didn't really play against the Chiefs because
Yeah.
he was on the 49ers for like 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta think a little bit on this one now. How about Stephon Diggs?
Number 4.
That's nice.
Zach got 1 through 4.
AJ Brown.
No.
No,
He's
'cause
lower than
I knew.
Smith.
Well, I thought him and Smith both.
Yeah, that's surprising. Smith was higher than him.
CeeDee Lamb.
Nice. Higgins.
No.
Really? Well, Chase was out.
Yeah. No. Not on here. These are the. There's 2 of these that are kind of.
Chris Godwin.
Number 8.
Nice.
Zach's going down.
Yeah.
I think I won.
Tough.
Maybe.
Oh. So I want to say someone in Seattle just because the volume there, but
That might be the reason that they're not on here. 'Cause
Yeah.
The volume.
I'll go. I'm gonna say Terry McLaurin. Nope. I can't believe Higgins isn't on there.
I could look if he was like close, but
I think this is terrible. Hawkinson? I didn't think
No,
so.
yeah, like
the last 2 are receivers.
last service. Okay, good. All right. See, I want to say someone in Los Angeles, but that doesn't work either.
There's
'cause-
some guy that's so easy.
Yeah. We're missing some obvious ones.
Number 9
I
is
know
very
one
easy.
obvious. Yeah.
10 is kind of.
Where do we want to go with this one?
Do you know it?
I know who it is.
Yeah.
I know who number 9 is.
Jaguars. No. Oh, Kirk. Christian Kirk. No.
How about Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Oh, we missed Adams.
Yeah.
Tough. We
Number
just got
10 is probably the hardest one that you wouldn't guess, but if you remember a year ago at this show last year, we talked about him a lot. That's the
I
hint.
don't remember that far.
We talked about Watson a lot, but it's not him, obviously.
You should guess Christian Watson.
No, why would I guess Watson? He was hurt for 4 or 5 games. Where do we want to go? Garrett Wilson?
I can give hints if you need. AFC.
It's not Waddle.
You guys are overthinking it.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want to give you the division. That would give it away, wouldn't it?
Amari Cooper?
He's
it Waddle?
going into his 4th year.
No, it's not
No.
Waddle.
Okay.
In his 4th year. Oh, wait. There's no way. It can't be.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to give you who I'm
Well,
thinking
I was
of.
confused what you were thinking of.
Do you know? Do you have a guess?
I don't think it's correct, but
I don't know. AFC? I don't know.
it's not Pittman,
It
right?
is Pittman.
It is Mike.
There's
99
no way.
receptions, yeah.
Wow.
So last
I
year we
didn't
talked
think he
about
was
that. We
even
thought
close
that
to
he
that.
would be. We
Yeah,
thought he
we
would
did
be
talk
the
about
number
Pittman.
one receiving or reception leader.
Yeah.
We thought he'd be number 1. He was number 10.
I didn't think he was even close to that high.
I
He
knew
didn't
that
have the
I knew
yards
he
and
ended up
touchdowns or
getting
what?
some of the
'Cause,
receptions, but
He missed like 3 games
His-
too, and he just got targeted a lot.
Because his fantasy season was not
Not
very
good at all.
No.
No. Although he did win me my league. Him and Mike
he did
Evans.
not win you a league.
He,
No,
well,
there's no
he-
way.
He scored the last point that I needed to beat the guy I was against in the
Doesn't
championship.
mean you won anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's our top 11. Zach,
it
you get the
easy.
win there.
Yeah.
Tough?
Like
Yeah, I
9 to
think
2
so.
or
I
something
like
that.
I like going with
I had a rebound
Olave.
after that grid.
Yeah. Hey, that's a 2-game losing streak for you against me. I beat you
Yeah.
last week too.
I went, didn't I win, or did
We'll
we
get
tie
back
last
at it
week?
next week.
Well,
Because you're doing all those grids on your phone.
Yeah.
Did I beat Zach last week, or did we tie?
Um,
We tied her then.
I think you tied. Yeah, you tied, and then we started giving hints, and then
Yeah.
Zach's on a little skid right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he won that one. But we're gonna get into
working
the
too
Packers
much.
here. That's,
Went on like
uh,
a 2-month winning streak and then
Don't talk about that.
that's some of the games we do there. And now we're gonna get into the Packer preview here. 2023 Packer preview. We just like to throw some games in there, but going through some of the key takeaways from training camp so far. So again, we talked about Packers. They have a preseason game tomorrow against the Cincinnati Bengals at 6 p.m. That one's on NFL Network. So if you end up
High tensions in that game.
Yeah, there will be. They had some joint practices yesterday and today in Cincinnati, and sure enough, the big takeaway, Elton Jenkins was in some fights, 2 of them, and he got kicked out. Yeah, his day was done. Ended practice early. He had to go to the showers. I guess you guys' initial thoughts on how camp's gone. I mean, it's good for the Packers to get some contact in against players, that who are not on the Packers. So I thought that was big, but
I think the Packers just need someone to step up and show a veteran just to show we're here and we want to prove to you that we're not just going to be a terrible team, or I mean they're going to be fine. And with someone that's going out there and showing some grit, maybe he'll get the rookies to step up and be like, all right, this is what we're supposed to do. Kind of show them what it's about.
all right, I think that's a good call. But overall, so far camp has been an interesting one for the Packers. I think one big word to sum it up is inconsistency, right? I mean, a lot of rookies, a lot of new players, new faces. Jordan Love under center. That's a big thing that is definitely thrown off a little bit, I think, of the Packers' rhythm. I think a big thing too, right? Romeo Doubs now, Watson, and Jaden Reed. I mean, those 3 have kind of are going to be probably your starting wide receivers come season starts. And it's just been getting connected with them. We've seen some misses in practice, some big misses. We've seen some overthrows on wide open plays. So just overall those inconsistencies, I think, has been a big thing. Do you guys think Jaden Reed is going to surpass even Romeo Doubs come camp start or season start?
I think 3 wide receiver sets will be them 3. I think if it's a 2 wide receiver set, I honestly think they're going to be switching off. Obviously, Watson's going to be out there. Even no matter how many receivers are on the field, he's going to be out there. I do like Jaden Reed. He's a 2nd-round pick. I think nobody's really talking about him. I don't know if it's because his size or what it is, but the other 2nd-round receivers, like Marvin Mims, I hear his name all the time, and I haven't heard anything about Jaden Reed. So I think he's a little slept on, and he could have a decent season.
Yeah. A little bit more about Jaden Reed for you Packer fans, right? He was drafted again 50th overall out of Michigan State. The big thing why they drafted Reed was, Keshawn Nixon, right? Remember him as the return guy last year, did a great job, but they wanted to have some extra depth there, and it seems Reed is a guy, he was actually slotted in as right behind Nixon already on the opening depth chart. So he might be returning some punts and kicks tomorrow in Cincinnati. You might see him there, a shifty guy, and he's definitely going to be a threat for this Packers offense. I mean, I think it's a great selection there, and he's gotten some hype. I agree with Zack, it hasn't been to the hype of like a Marvin Mims, Jonathan Mingo, those guys drafted also in the 2nd round. So that's something we got to watch. But another big one is Luke Musgrave. So Luke Musgrave is the tight end they drafted 42nd overall.
Faster than Christian Watson.
Yeah, I mean, the speed for Musgrave as an athlete out at Oregon State.
Never really known how to use tight ends early, though, so I don't really see that as going to be a huge benefit. You need someone after Tunyon left, and I think he'll be there just to be there, not really to produce as much as some like a Kelsey or something.
But before Tunyon had that big, crazy double-digit touchdown years, the last relevant tight end the Packers have had, Jermichael Finley, in terms of offensive production.
Martellus Bennett had a small year.
He's like strictly touchdowns.
Jared Cook, all he had was those 2 catches against the Cowboys, right?
Cook was kind of
made the season worth it.
Yeah.
But definitely, tight ends has been something the Packers have looked for, and Musgrave's going to be a guy to watch. So just Josiah DeGuara, if you guys remember him, he's actually been getting fullback reps. It looks like he's going to be actually the team's fullback. So they're moving him over to the fullback spot. He's been actually doing individual drills with the fullbacks. So, I mean, just that's a big takeaway for Green Bay. They might be using him in those big goal line sets. You're going to see Josiah DeGuara, who you saw catching tight end. We saw him actually do like a tight end screen when we went to the game in Detroit.
The next John Kuhn.
Oh, come on.
This is kind of unrelated, but what do you guys think of Patrick Ricard for the Ravens practicing with the offensive lineman?
That's the
300-pound fullback.
Oh, wow.
So he's 320 pounds or something like that.
Like a Walter Payton kind of guy. Or what's the guy's name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Refrigerator. William Perry.
Yeah.
William Perry.
Yeah, so that's been a move that the Packers have made, and I think what that means for Luke Musgrave, not to talk fantasy football here, but it looks like they want to let Musgrave go. Tucker Kraft so far, the guy they drafted also in round 3 out of South Dakota State, a tight end who you'll hear about. He's actually behind Tyler Davis in the tight ends right now. He hasn't done well. So we're wondering with Kraft, a guy again they drafted, you might not see a whole lot of him this year. It might be more Musgrave and then also some Tyler Davis sprinkled in there in those double tight end sets.
How excited are you, 1 to 10, to watch the Packers this year?
Just 12.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, I'm excited.
Honestly,
are you?
Jared, this is a new change. Jared, the Packer fans over here will tell you they haven't seen a new quarterback in a long time. It's going to be exciting to see.
But how good was Rodgers in his first year?
Yeah, I think he was
he okay?
Yeah.
So
I don't have any high expectations for.
I don't have the numbers pulled up here, but the point being is
that game that we saw in Detroit kind of left a bad taste. Like that was a terrible game for Love.
Yeah, I mean, the second half against the Eagles, I think that's what everyone's holding on to.
Yeah.
He went, I think it was 6 for 9 for like 100 yards or in a touchdown or something.
Were those 100 yards like what we saw? Did a little dump off to Christian Watson and then a 60-yard touchdown?
It was like a 50 or 60-yard touchdown to Watson, but the rest was just like normal. Yeah.
So the talk so far has been with Jordan Love in camp has been, again, the inconsistency has been a big one. The arm has been there. The arm strength has been there. It's been something that people loved. I mean, watching the tape. The arm looks good. He looks good. He's still making those rookie mistakes, though. He threw a pick 6 yesterday in practice to Mike Hilton. They're a Bengals corner. Again, just an RPO and made a bad read was kind of the play. I saw.
Insert Drew joke here. Made a bad Jaden Reed.
Yeah, he made a bad Jaden Reed. Nice. But that's been something that I think over over some of these preseason games, we'll see Love. That's going to be the cool thing too. We're going to see this Packers offense out for some drives. It's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers where you see him for a drive in the preseason, he's done. You're going to see Love out there for some drives. So going to some preseason games, definitely something you might want to do this year.
Well, I think the mistake that they made with Rodgers was that he never played preseason. So come week 1, they had a really slow start always. Every single year they had nothing in the first half, and they'd win the game. Even against the Bears, week 1 that one time, they were down 20-0 at halftime. They came back and they won the game. It just takes a while. So if he plays even one game preseason, so now Jordan Love is playing preseason, he'll play all the games or some of the games, and he'll at least be ready for week 1. Something different.
I think that was a big issue last year, especially with all new receivers. He always had Adams, where he could just rely on Adams, and I think maybe that's why he would always target him so much and wouldn't spread the ball around. It's just because he wasn't comfortable with the other receivers.
Yeah, and another takeaway that we've seen in camp is Mason Crosby no more. New kicker in Green Bay. So a big thing here is they drafted someone in the 6th round. So Anders Carlson. So you guys remember, you guys know Daniel Carlson?
Yeah, yep. Raiders.
That Raiders kicker? His brother, younger brother.
Is it?
Anders Carlson. He is the new kicker for your Green Bay Packers. He started, though. He was terrible. He was kicking. It was
there you go.
50 to 60% of his kicks he was missing. He was missing ones inside the 40. So he was missing kicks left and right. And you as Packer fans, you all know it's frustrating. Maybe not Jared, but
what about that quarterback that they drafted, Sean Clifford? In the 5th round. What do you think about that?
Well, we gotta still talk about the kicker.
Well,
he's 19 and 23 in his last 3 days. That was the point I wanted to make. He's been making nearly every kick now after that rough start.
19 for 23?
Yeah.
That's not nearly every kick.
Depends what this.
He's missed 4.
It's 80%.
If he's 19 for 23 from 55 plus, that's really good.
Yeah.
They were all 45 plus.
Okay.
There's going to be some work, though.
Yeah,
I do think the Packers, they might bring in another kicker. All right, they wasted 6. I mean, not wasted, but you don't often draft a kicker. I mean, you draft him 6th, 7th round if you draft
What
one.
about 49ers, 3rd round?
That was too rich for my blood on that one. Couldn't believe that. But Anders Carlson is going to be a guy you're going to see in the Packer uniform. You might be seeing him kick right away for Green Bay. Jared weirdly wants to talk about Sean Clifford. I don't know why.
Well, because isn't he the worst rated quarterback in the draft? Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was down there.
And the only reason they got him is for coaching kind of thing.
Well,
he's not even going to be a backup.
You bring a good point because this team has no quarterback depth. If Love goes down, I mean, right away, they're told. I mean,
be getting Caleb Williams
they
next
could be
year.
a top. They could be one of the bottom 3 teams in the league. The Green Bay Packers could. Right? We know how important quarterback is. Jared's team definitely does. The Colts, they can't find one to stay.
Hey, we got one now. And
now.
Jim Irsay, he said he's going to make over $1 billion as a
Okay,
Colt.
come on. But right now,
Yeah, that's what Jim Irsay said.
he just talks.
Yeah, he
Wait,
does.
Sean
When he
Clifford
talks,
right
when
now
he
is listed
Talks
as the number
knowledge.
2.
Speaks knowledge.
And then USFL MVP Alex McGough is your QB3 in Green Bay. It's a disaster. He's
got some cool hair.
Behind Jordan Love. Okay, yeah, but the game itself isn't that cool. So that's something we're monitoring with the quarterback situation. We're worried about that. But other reports from yesterday's camp that we do want to touch on. If you all remember Rudy Ford, he had some big interceptions last year. Did he have a pick 6 too? I think he might have.
You're talking
Rudy Ford.
preseason or in the season?
So actually in the season, Rudy Ford was the guy you saw at safety.
Oh, last week. Oh.
But the big thing has been actually Jonathan Owens. So with Jonathan Owens here, he's actually been taking spot over Rudy Ford. So the point being said is on defense, we might see some new faces there. And we're wondering there who's going to take the spot. Is it going to be Ford or Owens? And it's been a toss-up so far, but Jonathan Owens so far has been leading the way. And then also Lucas Van Ness had his best day on Wednesday. That was cool to see. Rashawn Gary and David Bakhtiari are both practicing.
What's cool to see is Iowa produce a player that's not a tight end. That's pretty cool.
That is cool to see. You were always a George Kittle guy, too. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
You were right on George Kittle.
George Kittle, Hawkinson, Noah Fant, Laporta. They're all Iowa. Yeah. No, you're Laporta. I'm not
Yeah,
Laporta.
yeah. But that's been
He's going to be the real deal.
In 4 years, maybe he'll catch a touchdown
This
or
year.
something.
And then a good part that we should highlight is the Packer team dinner. So, again, a lot of this training camp info, Matt Schneidman of The Athletic does a great job covering it. And just his link will be down, right? If you're listening on audio side, we'll have that link down below on some of the articles. But then also, he did bring up this point, was something I wanted to highlight, give credit there. The Packers had their first road team dinner in the Matt LaFleur era. Last night.
Whoa! He found the door. Don't worry.
All right, they had their first Packer team dinner on the road in the Matt LaFleur era. They went to Ruby's Steakhouse. Has anyone been there before? Is it a good place? Ruby's Steakhouse?
No idea.
That might
Never
be
heard of
because
it?
Rogers was there. Just saying. I don't know. Might be his fault.
He doesn't like going out to eat or what?
Not a leader. Yeah.
I wonder if they do. They probably
a
don't
team
have some
leader.
sort of buffet thing, but like, come on. They had like all you can eat anything there. That'd be
I've never
pretty
been
cool.
there, Drew. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just saying, like a steakhouse in general.
Likes
Jared-
food.
Yeah.
Jared, do you like steak?
I don't
like-
worry about what I
You like
what I
mini
don't
corn dogs,
like.
though.
You don't like steak,
I
do you?
do.
If they had all you can eat mini corn dogs, you would have been there.
I'd been there, yeah, or pizza or something.
Yeah, so that was just some nice tidbit I saw. That's cool, Packers. It seems like as a team, right? So far, camp and reports have been, it's more of a team. You know, I think that's a big thing. Even maybe you could say with the quarterback change, sure, but it just seems like they're really embracing one another there with Green Bay. That might be something we see more on the field, as physicality was certainly a weakness last year for this squad. So something I just thought I would point out.
I haven't really seen how's their like run defense been. Is it better than the years previous, or is it still?
The interior wise, I mean, like guys like Devontae Wyatt, they're hoping for leaps from from year 1 to 2. I think
Depends.
Quay Walker.
Yeah. Joe Barry's defense first half of the season's always terrible, and second half it's
yeah.
like top in the league.
Zach's right. It comes down to D coordinator, some scheme things, and
I hope the Colts play the Packers early next season. So that easy win for the Colts there.
all right. So we have a record prediction we're gonna do. I'm gonna read the Packers' schedule for this upcoming year, and then we're gonna do an audience grid here before we wrap up. So we'll get through the record. We're gonna go through the schedule. Starting here, week 1, I'm gonna read through the opponents. Then Zach, Jared, you guys know how we do this. We're gonna spit out a record and say how they're gonna do. Week 1 at Chicago. Week 2 at Atlanta versus New Orleans versus Detroit at Las Vegas. Bye week, week 6. And then at Denver, home versus Minnesota, home versus Los Angeles Rams, at Pittsburgh, home versus the Los Angeles Chargers, at Detroit, home versus the Kansas City Chiefs, at New York for the Giants, home versus Tampa Bay, at Carolina, at Minnesota, and then at home versus Chicago to wrap up the year. Those are your 17 games. How many wins are we counting up? You guys are counting down your winnable games?
7 and 10.
Ooh.
I'm counting up 10 and 7.
Wow.
Seriously?
No, there'll be 8 or 9 wins.
Okay, I have 8 and 9, so I have them
7.
I have them the same record as this past year.
Actually, 10.
I really think with this young core, with Musgrave, Dobbs, Watson, and Reed, I think we're going to see this core. It's going to be, they need a year to gel, I think. I think year 2, I think next year, 2024, 2025. I think you hear us talking, I think then we're looking more at this team's ready.
I think it definitely helps them that you look at the first 5 weeks, none of those teams are going to be 10-plus wins.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Right?
And
I mean, maybe
but-
Detroit gets to 10, but they're going to be close.
But what do you
and-
think other teams are saying when they see Packers on the schedule? They might be like, okay, that might be an easy win.
Same thing
you
I
know,
just
like
said.
something like that. Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah.
a little bias that might go into it. That's why I said 7. I think they could win 8 and 9. Third in the division, maybe second. I think that they could be second. And possibly, if the NFC is bad, sneak into the wild card. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, NFC is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
normally
it seems like the NFC has
It's
been
gonna be
bad the
bad.
last few years, especially. So, some key takeaways also with the schedule before we go into the grid is Thursday, Thanksgiving. Yes, the Packers are finally playing on Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions. 11:30 a.m. right now is that. And then the Packers will also be on ABC on a Monday night. So some weird scheduling there, Monday, December 11th there. So some Monday Night Football. ESPN's doing like a new doubleheader thing on Monday nights now.
Where's that game?
Throughout the year. It's at New York versus the Giants.
Okay.
Monday night, earlier in the year, Devontae Adams and going against the Packers. That's at Vegas, though. 7:15, it's a Monday night one. And then some other primetime ones, Thursday night, September 28th, week 4, Detroit again. So you played Detroit twice, both in primetime games, both Thursday games. So that's interesting tidbit with the schedule. Week 17, Sunday Night Football, Minnesota. So Packers still got a good chunk of primetime games.
At Minnesota, right?
That is at Minnesota, correct.
When's the last time they won in Minnesota?
A couple years ago.
A couple, two,
It's like
3
the
years
Colts
ago.
and
Colts and
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. That doesn't happen
I don't
either.
think it's quite that long though. That's
right,
going to be extended
2012
this year
or
too.
something?
Yeah.
So we do have an audience grid. Zach, I'm going to ask if you can help me out here. Write
Oh, I can.
it down as we go. So we're going to need you, the audience, here. So you have an eraser here. And you're going to use this eraser.
I see. I'm catching up.
So we're doing a 3x3 grid for the audience here. And trust me, we have some NFC North teams in here. We have some stuff here. And this is what we're going to do here before we
made it
conclude tonight.
Audience friendly. We made it.
Audience friendly is how we'd word it. We definitely believe you guys can do this. So on the top 3, we have the Chicago Bears. So, yep, right there. Vikings. And then all-time passing yard leader. You'll see how this goes. Then on the left side, so the columns there, one column, we have Packers, Jets, and Lions. And Lions.
Doing all of the NFC North.
So we got all NFC North in there. We even have some Jets in there for you guys. So we'll let the audience here. Well, Zach can hold it up. He'll mark it down as we go. So we have. So do we have one? He is one who works. He was there in the
Wow.
90s. Yeah, I checked that one.
Okay, they might get these. Just check it.
So we also had some easier ones. We also had Jimmy Graham, Robert Tunyon, and Adrian Amos. Team players who are actually currently on the team. So that one is squared away.
She got the rarity score on that one.
There you go. So Minnesota, Green Bay, Brett Favre will do. So Brett Favre, put him on there so far too. Jennings would have also worked there. We also had Zadarius Smith. Bring him in there. Do we know the all-time passing yard leader for the Green Bay Packers? It was Brett Favre, yeah. So Favre works in there twice.
Good X.
So you'll see Favre was in fact there. You could. Then we also now have, where are we at? We need some Jets. You guys know some Jets? Yeah, you could. Yeah, that's the fun part of the script. Brett Favre works for everything.
Doesn't work for you, Zach.
Not for everything. Yeah, they can reuse them. So far we have 4 of them. We're looking for 5 more. Do you guys know the all-time passing leader for the Jets? It was Joe Namath. There we go.
My arms are getting
You want me to hold it?
Yeah, my arms are getting
All-time passing yard leader for Detroit. Anyone? Nope. He's a recent quarterback. He's still in the league. Matthew Stafford. Over there, producer David.
Hey, you need to put the X
Gets that
down.
one in.
the X.
We're looking for 3 more. Detroit, Minnesota.
How about Green Bay and the Jets?
That's not one day.
No, it's not.
Hawkinson does work. TJ Hawkinson.
Never mind.
Put him down. We need Chicago and the Jets. We need Bears and Lions. So there was a recent transaction, a running back moved from the Bears to the Lions this past offseason.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kind of tough.
let's move over. Yeah, it's kind of tough. Bears and Jets is also a little tough. It's also a running back. He played in the mid-2000s, or not mid-2010s, rather. So those 2 were the toughest ones here on the list.
Marcus?
That works.
So So the good news is the list, the audience here, you guys can phone on Zach or Jared. So it looks like for 2 spots left. You guys want to finish her out?
Chicago and Detroit. Chicago's leading running back for the last, how many years?
3-4 years.
3-4 years. 4?
Put him
4
down.
years. David Montgomery.
David Montgomery, yes. Put him down. And then Jets and Bears. Zach, do you know who it is? It's a running back, mid-2010s.
Matt Forte.
Matt Forte.
You heard it out
That'll do
there.
it.
There we go.
Good job over there, John. Awesome. So there's the audience grid.
I didn't know that was on there.
So we have to throw some grids in there. Thank you, audience, for helping us out here with that one. And then that was our final game here tonight. But we did have some things here before we go. I want to shout out this Baumeister root beer. It's phenomenal. So it's some good stuff. Want to start there, but also I hope you all enjoyed your food and drinks tonight. We had some chicken nachos, some other cheese curds.
Zach got it with no spices because he doesn't like spice.
Okay, those cheese curds, guys, those Pine River Dairy cheese curds. Where would you rate them out? What would you rate them out of 10? They were phenomenal.
Up there. I'll just
Like
say
they would have
it's
been
up
like a
there.
9.5 for me.
Be prepared for the
8,
sauce.
9, 8.
I thought
The
they were
mild
really good.
sauce that was hot for you. Yeah.
You could, well, and also we had what else? We had those fries. Fries are good too.
The pretzel was really good.
Yeah,
Talking
pretzels.
about food now.
Those were some good stuff. And also want to shout out to social medias. Last thing, remember to scan that QR code. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff is on there. You can check that all out on the social media pages. This will be up then as an episode. We do have video again. Thank you to David on that with that audio. That'll be up here in the upcoming days on that. And then, yeah, just check out the social media. Hat and sweatshirt sales. Keep in mind, $15 hat, $10 sweatshirt. Just come over here after the show. We can get that taken care of. But otherwise, Zach, Jared, you guys got anything else tonight here?
Who has more wins, Colts or Packers?
Packers. Come on, that's ridiculous, Jared.
That's
Jets. Jets. All right. Well, again, we all want to thank you here for coming out tonight, and that's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyber, along with Jared and Zach. And thank you all here for listening to yet another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, The Journey to a Million, the perfect podcast for you. Thank you, everybody. Good night.